We started with legal, but then we bring in Pam. She kind of levels us. And then
and so will Julie.
Out tonight. What, Christine?
And so will Julie.
Yeah, exactly. And so to really bring us full circle, we bring in Julie Potiker, who is my very dear friend. And I remember years ago now, sitting at lunch with her, and she said to me, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to be a mindfulness trainer, instructor, consultant. And I said, you go, girl. Well, I bring you Julie Potiker, mindfulness instructor, trainer, and author. By the way, doing that at the same time, caregiving for her mom and dad.
Julie. So I just have to say I'm so honored to be here. Haley asked, do you have more specific examples of mindfulness techniques you adopted along the way? And that is why Karen brought me. So yes. And I just have to say, Pam, your story, when I was listening to your story, I had tears arise, I had memories arise, I felt connected from my heart to your heart. I felt connected to this group. I was dropping down in my body. I was noticing my breath. I was titrating, opening and closing my heart. These are all things that I teach that we're going to talk about tonight that are so helpful for this very painful journey that we can't get out of. So it's really incredibly beneficial to figure out how to navigate this landscape inside your own body so that you can show up for in your caregiving situation, whether it's your parents or whether it's children that you're caregiving or relatives that you're caregiving, or whether you're even a professional caregiver. So thank you all for being here. The first thing that I want to teach tonight, and then I'll lead a guided meditation, but I want to get through some little nuts and bolts and tips that'll be helpful. And then I copy and pasted some links from my website that I'll also put in the chat. So you'll have resources, the blog, the podcast, the YouTube guided nature videos with me guiding meditations, and 3 specific blogs that relate to caregiving. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, and I wish I could see everybody, but I understand some of you might be indisposed. So just follow along with me. I'd like to teach you guys this exercise. Oh, thank you for those of you that are turning on your cameras. I'd like to teach you this exercise called soothing touch. And it's when you place your hands in different places on your own body, and it downregulates your nervous system. So when you're feeling grief or fear or anxiety or sadness and you need to calm down and you want to calm down, you can actually release endorphins and oxytocin in your own body for yourself, which is super duper cool. So we're going to do like a little Simon Says. You'll keep your eyes open so that you can see me, and then just follow along with me. One hand on your chest. Feeling the warmth. Another hand on top of that hand. Feeling like you need a little more support, a fist underneath that hand, like a fierce, fierce self-compassion. Both hands on your belly. Feeling the warmth of your hands on your belly. Cradling your face. I don't want to hit my microphone, so it's both hands. Like, oh, little facey, like you'd imagine doing to a little precious facey. Okay, now your arms, kind of giving yourself a hug with a little squeeze, like feel the pressure and love that you're giving yourself on your arms. Now hands on your thighs and just sort of like a little bit of pressure stroke. And then hands in hands, you could do it like this in your lap. I'm just doing it up here so you guys can see me. And then also prayer hands. So what's amazing about this is when infants cry out and they get picked up by their caregiver and the caregiver says, oh, gentle vocalization and soothing touch, a cascade of gorgeous soothing hormones gets released in the infant and in the parent. And what scientists have figured out is we can parent ourselves. So here we are, grown-ass women and men caring for our loved ones in very difficult situations, and we're hurting and we feel like we want somebody to, my daughter used to say, I want mommy hodo. We feel like we want somebody to hodo. We can hodo ourselves. And so when you're doing the 3-center check-in, which I'm going to teach next, or you're doing the stop practice, which I'm going to teach next, or anytime you have difficult emotions arise, figure out which of those soothing touch places is your go-to and do it. And you'll help calm your nervous system. You'll decrease your arousal. So before I move on, are there any questions on that? You can just pop them in the chat if I wasn't clear.
I wish I had this last week when I yelled at somebody.
Okay, so you're human, right? You're human, and you know our nerves are frayed because of the fires and the pandemic and the social unrest. It's actually, and you're a caregiver, it's actually too much, but yet you can't quit. So when your brain gets hijacked, don't beat yourself up. Your brain's getting hijacked. You need to calm down. You need to slow down. You're not always going to remember. It's been 12 years and I have to leave myself reminders. I put little stickers in my environment to remember to stop and breathe. And I love that. Just show up, be brave, rest, try again. So the next thing that I want to teach you guys is stop. S-T-O-P. So that's stop. Take 3 breaths. Observe your body, which is kind of like a 3-center check-in. What's going on in your body? What are you feeling? How's your mood? And what are your thoughts? Because the really cool thing is you're going to have thoughts and feelings and emotions arise, and if you don't spin out on the storyline of them, they'll pass. Because all the good things pass, all the bad things pass, everything passes. So when you realize that and you make some room around your experience, make some room to breathe, you can notice, oh, that's fear coming up, or that's anger coming up, or that's grief coming up. And then there's all kinds of ways as caregivers that we can ground ourselves. You know, we want to get back to right here, right now. And 2 of the easiest ways that I use are the soles of the feet and the hands. So I can't tell if you all can put the soles of your feet on the ground. You don't have to stand up if you don't want to, but if you want to stand up, go right ahead. And then how you really notice the soles of your feet, you feel the actual bottom of your feet on the ground, whether you're in socks or whether you're in shoes, and you just take a moment to drop your attention there. Are your feet warm? Are they cool? Are they dry? Are they moist? And then you can move your weight around so that your attention, oh, what happens if I move my weight to the right? If I move my weight to the left, if I sort of tilt forward, if I tilt back. It's a little sneaky because what you're doing is you're breaking the discursive loop of worrying and ruminating. Anytime you pick an anchor of your awareness and you focus your attention, which is mindfulness, you're stopping the worrying and the ruminating that we do because we're primates. So all this brain science is super duper cool. The other thing that you could do is with your hands. If you're in a caregiving situation, it's very possible that you're washing your hands all the time. And if you're working in a hospital or clinic setting, for sure that's going on. And you can take a moment when you use the hand sanitizer to feel what it's like to have the rubbing and the temperature, and whether it's slimy or whether it's water or whether it's soap and whatever it is, and just drop your awareness into your hands and feel your hands. So if you can remember to do that, it'll take your mind away from your worries and your rumination. So those are two really easy, quick tips. I also always have a here and now stone with me. You know, some people have a rosary or a worry stone or a mala. If you feel and look at whatever that object is, the same thing will happen. You'll start wondering, oh, it's cool, it's warm, it's smooth, it's got a little rough bit on it, and it'll break your discursive loop from worrying and from ruminating. Any questions before I move on? Karen?
So that's an interesting statement about the loop, because I know for me that's where I absolutely 100% get caught up in the loop, and the loop is raging and has been for a while. But it's like these, so my question is, this kind of awareness on a daily basis is what breaks that loop.
Correct.
That really does nothing for you, quite honestly.
No, actually, not only does it not do anything for you, it hurts you and makes you sick. So it decreases your immune system. The cortisol and adrenaline that happens when you're stressed out and when you're chronically stressed out can make you sick. And for those of you guys that don't know my background, I'm an attorney. I am not New Age. I am not woo-woo. What I am telling you guys is evidence-based science. So meditation, making the time to learn to meditate, will decrease inflammation. It'll boost your immune system. It'll help your telomeres not fray with age. It'll increase your gray matter. Your heart rate and your blood pressure will go down. Anxiety and depression will go down. Well-being goes up. I mean, it's for something that's free, that's not a pharmaceutical, it's actually shocking how much health and wellness happens when you start a meditation practice. And then there's mindfulness in daily life, which is super duper important, which is paying attention to what you're doing when you're doing it, whether it's the first few sips of your glass of water, it's like, oh, this feels cold and wet in my hands, you know, or your coffee or tea in the morning, incredible. When you're cooking, paying attention to what you're cooking, not thinking about what you wish you would have said or done differently or what you need to do next. Brushing your teeth with your eyes closed. Oh, wow. I hear the electric toothbrush. I taste the toothpaste. How does that feel in my mouth? These are all mindfulness and daily life activities. Okay, I see a lot of stuff going on in the chat, which I'm happy people are engaged. It's distracting, but keep doing it because I'm so happy people are engaged.
Great reminders.
Okay. Where did I get my training and this information? Oh my God, I'm such a nerd. Thank you for asking me. I have so many credentials by now. I'm a mindful self-compassion teacher that's trained through UCSD. I'm also trained for the mindful self-compassion adaptation for healthcare workers, which is a new curriculum. I'm also trained to teach the mindful self-compassion short course online. And I'm an experienced neuroplasticity teacher trainer, which is Rick Hanson's work, which is taking in positive mental states, pushing them to a neural trait just by letting them land and absorbing them and enriching them. So that's a beautiful sunset. What's for dinner? That's a beautiful sunset. Wow, look at that. Like when Pam said her dad saw the duck and saw the water and saw the light, he was actually wiring neural bridges in his brain, because what fires together wires together. And by taking the time to really feel that, he was making a happier brain. So I wasn't planning on teaching this, but I'm happy to teach it. It's because it's easy and it's fun. If you can remember when you're feeling awe, to let it in just for a couple breaths. It doesn't even need to be a minute. You're going to make a happy bridge in your brain. And the more times you do that, when your mind is just wandering, which is your default mode network, and it's just negative, negative, worried, worried, negative, worried, negative, worried, you're pruning out all that negative worry and you're adding happy, happy, happy bridges. So eventually your wandering mind, which is your default mode network, won't be such a nasty place to be. And you have control over this? You're kidding me. So, you know, it's astounding. The gratitude practice. So the journal that Karen held up before, it's just a spiral notebook that's empty. The 2 questions that I would like you all to answer every single night: what did I enjoy today? What am I grateful for today? It sounds Pollyanna. It's a little bit annoying. I completely didn't want to do it. And for years I didn't do it because I don't like to be told what to do even by myself. The brain science is rock solid that a gratitude practice will make you happier because you get into a positive loop. Like just what we were talking about, a negative loop, you don't want to keep rewiring your bad story. You want to wire your good story. So the benefits of a gratitude practice: it improves your health, your relationships, your emotions, your personality, your career. But the whole how it does all that stuff is you're rewiring your brain, right? So if you write down that you took a break from caregiving and you got outside and you saw a bird, or you saw the ocean, or you saw whatever, and then you read that and you re-experience it, you get winner, winner, chicken dinner. You get to re-experience every time you feel good, and you make another happy bridge. So we have so much power, even when life is, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. I just keep thinking it's a shitstorm. You know what I mean? It's a shitstorm. And you've got an umbrella. Your umbrella are your mindful methods for life, skills and tools that you learn from me or from anybody who teaches mindful self-compassion. So I'm just, yeah, what did I enjoy today and what am I grateful for today? Yeah. So, okay, so I'd like to lead you in a really gorgeous meditation. How much time do I have, Karen?
You're good, like 20 minutes.
Okay, so, and I also want to leave time for Q&A. So I'll try to pay attention. I get so into it that I get lost, and so I'll try to maybe make this 12, 13 minutes instead of maybe I'll set a timer. Why don't I do
You've actually
that?
got 25 minutes. So, I mean, you're good with it.
Okay.
We're going to go till 7:30. We have another raffle that we'll do after your meditation, and then we'll sign off. But you've got a good 25 minutes.
Okay, so I'm going to lead you guys in a meditation called Compassion with Equanimity, and I did not make this meditation up. When you go on my podcast, they're all just like completely creative stuff coming out of my God knows where channeling whoever, but this happens to be a real specifically scripted meditation from the Mindful Self-Compassion curriculum specifically for caregivers, and it's also on my podcast, and it's also on Insight Timer. So if you dig it, you can hear it again. All right, so let's find a comfortable seat. And I'd like you all to either close your eyes if you're comfortable closing your eyes, or if that makes you feel any kind of ickiness, just a gentle downward gaze. This is, I'm a trauma-informed mindfulness teacher also. I forgot to add that before. So with being trauma-informed, it's really my pleasure to tell you that any time you hear anybody leading a guided meditation, if something doesn't feel good to you, make it your own. Open your eyes, stop the practice, walk around, do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself. That's more important than following the rules. Okay, so our eyes are closed, or a gentle downward gaze. We're going to breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, and breathe out for 6. And we're going to do that 3 times. You can either breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, or any which way your breath is comfortable. Starting now. Last one. Okay, let your breath find its natural rhythm. And then relax, starting at the top of your head. So relax your forehead. Allow your eyebrows to go really smooth. Think about your eyelids as being so comfy and soft. Releasing and relaxing your jaws. Imagining a slight smile to the outside corners of your lips. Dropping that smile down into your throat and your neck, and relaxing and releasing and softening. Letting your shoulder blades melt down your back. Dropping that smile down into your heart. Taking a beat there to see what's going on. Dropping down into your belly and releasing your abs. Relaxing your hips into whatever is supporting them. Releasing your thighs, your knees, your calves, your feet. Allowing relaxation to go from your shoulders down both arms to the tips of your fingers. Softening your hands. And you may want to place a hand or hands where you think you might find it soothing from our soothing touch exercise, just for a breath or two. This is an acknowledgement that you're giving yourself love and care right here, right now. Know where you need to be right now, nothing that you need to do right now. You're giving this practice to yourself and in community for each other. Relaxing your hand in your lap. Resting your awareness on your in-breath and your out-breath. Seeing and feeling your body breathing in and your body breathing out. Now please bring to mind someone you're caring for who's exhausting you or frustrating you, or someone who you care about who's suffering. Visualize the person, and the caregiving situation clearly in your mind. And see whether you can drop down and feel any struggle in your body. Now, please listen to these words, letting them roll through your mind. Everyone is on his or her own life journey. I am not the cause of this person's suffering, nor is it entirely within my power to make it go away, even if I wish I could. And I so often wish I could. Moments like this are difficult to bear, yet I may still try to help if I can. Aware of the stress you're carrying in your body, inhaling fully and deeply, drawing compassion inside your body and filling every cell of your body with compassion. Letting yourself be soothed by inhaling deeply and by giving yourself the compassion that you need. You can even breathe in a word like strength or hope or love or healing, patience. Letting your exhale be breathing in what you need right now. If you're just joining the group, making sure you're on mute. Thank you. We're breathing in what we need right now. Could be hope, patience, love, peace, ease. And now as you exhale, breathing out compassion to the person who's associated with your discomfort. Continue breathing in compassion for yourself and out for the other. One for me, one for you. In for me, out for you. If your mind wanders, which is normal, just coming back to the exercise where you're breathing in compassion for yourself and you're breathing out compassion for your loved one or for the person that you're caring for. One for me, one for you. Allowing your body to be caressed from the inside as you breathe. Letting yourself float on an ocean of compassion, a timeless ocean that holds all suffering. And listening to these words once again, letting them wash over you like waves. Everyone is on his or her own life journey. I'm not the cause of this person's suffering, nor is it entirely within my power to make it go away, even if I wish I could. Moments like this are difficult to bear, yet I may still try to help if I can. Now, letting go of the words and of the focus on your breath and just sitting in meditation for a few moments of open awareness, seeing what thoughts and feelings and emotions arise and allowing them to blow through like clouds on the big sky of your mind. Letting your mind be still, letting your body be settled. Now you might want to wiggle your fingers and your toes, and when you hear the sound of the chimes, listening to the sound until it's all the way gone. I'm going to ring the chimes 3 times and then gently coming back into this space. Giving yourself a little stretch if you need it. And I'm curious if anybody feels like unmuting and sharing what that experience was like for them, or even just putting it in the chat if they feel differently in their body now than they did 15 minutes ago. I'm just curious.
When I was breathing in the love and the compassion, my foot would cramp up. When I'd blow it out, it would go away. When
Wow.
I'd listen to my dad, it would go away. And when I
So,
breathed in again, it cramped up. And it's like, oh my gosh.
so that's so interesting. I have a suggestion that you place your hands wherever you find constriction,
Mhm.
and in your mind send soothing, warmth, soften, soothe, relax, and see if you can get the body part, in your case your foot, to relax, because we're so embodied. Like, it's very cool that you notice that, like super cool that you notice that. So that's stress.
Yeah. Well,
And it's trauma.
I've been sick periodically over the last 6 months, and my hair has been falling out. So something is happening.
Right. So
And so I will work on that foot.
are you meditating in general?
Not very well.
Okay, so there's no such thing as not very well.
Well,
It's
not
all
often. Let me say, not very often.
okay. So that's a great room for improvement. Don't beat yourself up that you're not doing it. You know, it's
Yeah.
you know, it's so interesting because my mom's been gone for 4 years. I think when I first came to Daughterhood Circle, she maybe had she already had congestive heart failure, but she was just diagnosed with cancer. My dad has only been gone for 8 months, and um, the mindful self-compassion toolkit saved my life when my mom was passing away. She was a much more difficult case because she really was scared and she was pissed. She did not want to die. She wanted more time. My father was just like this bastion of equanimity and grace. So it was so much easier on me as a caregiver. You know, I still had so much sorrow and I just miss him terribly. But it was so much easier as a caregiver having the situation where, you know, he was with my mom for like 67 years and he was without her for 4 and he was ready.
Yeah.
You know, and it was before COVID. So I was just, when Pam was sharing her story, I was like, I just wanted to say that once COVID hit, I was so glad my dad was already gone and I didn't have to like get not allowed into, he was in independent living. He wasn't in assisted living and he had all his faculties,
Yeah.
but I would have been not allowed in there.
Right.
You know, and so,
Yeah. I'm not allowed to see we have window visits, but that's not.
right. And so that's terrible. So
That's
it's, you know, I teach a lot about working with difficult emotions. So when you name the emotion, your amygdala calms down and then you can work with the emotion. So I like to teach the acronym RAIN, and there's just a ton on my website and in my blogs on this, but it's RAIN, recognize, allow, investigate, nourish. So you could be standing there at the window and not being allowed in and like say to yourself, this sucks. And just naming the emotion calms it down, right? And then you allow it to be there, not all day, but you allow it to be there long enough to figure out, where do I feel that in my body? Is my foot cramping? Is it, do I feel a pain in my jaw? Is it in my heart? Do I want to puke or have diarrhea? And then you put your hands, because we're embodied, we've got this vagus nerve going all down from our brain, all down into our body. You put your hands where you feel the bad feeling.
Yeah.
And you give yourself love and you give yourself soothing to calm down your nervous system. So that's kind of the investigate piece of RAIN, RAI, and then the N is nourish. It used to be not identify when Tara Brach first started teaching it, and then the mindful self-compassion movement really shifted it to nourish. And that is, what do I need to hear right now? And you say to yourself, oh my God, this is tough. Wow. This is part of being human, feeling this way. And you know what? I am not alone. I bet you there's 7.5 billion of us. There's a billion people right now feeling what I'm feeling. And just that feeling of common humanity in your bones helps stave off the hopelessness that leads to depression. It's incredible. And then I add a little thing because I can't help myself, which is, what do I need to do right now? And that's the change the channel thing. And that's popping in a memory of something fantastic and re-experiencing it, just reabsorbing it so that you build another happy bridge in your brain. And I want to share something about my mom's last breath, okay? And I hope this isn't triggering to people, but she had a hospital bed in her bedroom next to the master bed in the master bedroom. You know, she passed away in their apartment at home in San Diego. And I was like up at my sister's, so I was on one side of the bed, like up near her head and her chest. And my 2 sisters were on the other side, and we all had our hands on her. And when she took her final breath, and the hospice nurse told me this would happen, thank goodness, because I didn't know what to look for. Like, there's a almost like a mask that gets a different color, sort of grayed out when somebody's really about to pass away. And so when I saw that happening, I knew it was going to be her last final breaths. And I said the Shema, which is this, I'm an incredibly secular Jew, but I said the Shema, which is this prayer in Judaism that is historically said right before somebody passes away, and whispered "Go with God" into her ear. And then I had a whoosh of common humanity where I had a sense of every single person standing at their loved one with their hands on their loved one, and all the loved ones dying in that second on the whole planet. It was the craziest thing. It was crazy and awesome. And it helped me put this in a larger context. I'm not saying I didn't have terrible grief because of losing my mom. I did. But at that moment, it was gorgeous. And then when my dad passed away, it was a whole different story. He had this thing called Cheyne-Stokes breathing, which I don't recommend anybody witnessing, but if you happen to be there and it's happening, you got to be there and it's happening. It's tough because it's scary, but the doctor was there. And so he told me, like, it doesn't hurt him and he doesn't know what's going on. And I had one hand on his chest and I had one hand holding his hand. He was in his Barca-Lounger and I was on my knees for 4 hours, which I also don't recommend, but I didn't realize what was happening. And I was chanting, "I'm here, letting go. We're here, letting go," because my sister was in the other chair and my husband was holding her hand. "We're here, letting go." And I married my breath to his breath, except for when he was doing the like gasping and then breathing thing, which is what Cheyne-Stokes is. And it was a meditation releasing him to my mom. So this is the toughest stuff that we as humans all go through, and we're all going to go through it. And if we can keep our wits about us, we can go through it in a spiritual way, in a more beautiful way. We can keep our wits, you know, and how we keep our wits about us really is calming down. So, questions now.
Julie, there's a question here. Have you shared doing any of these methods with your parents before they pass?
Yeah, absolutely. So my mom, she had hearing aids, so she couldn't put earbuds in her ears because she had hearing aids in her ears. So my son found her on eBay, like an old Walkman, a Sony Walkman that had headphones. And I got her the Jack Kornfield meditations for healing, and it really soothed her. And I also got her to start listening to Insight Timer, which is the app that we talked about earlier. And there were some specific voices on there that she liked. And occasionally she'd be hospitalized and I would always be in the room with her, and she'd wake up in the middle of the night and I had it queued up and I'd push play and she'd fall right back to sleep, like literally within 2 or 3 seconds. And she never knew she was awake. It was like Pavlovian. She'd hear that voice and go back to sleep. With my dad, he didn't need any of this. My dad wanted to take advantage of California's medical aid in dying, and we paid the money and we filled out the forms and we had our date and we were all excited about it, and then he passed away 12 days sooner. So we didn't get to do it. But if anybody has questions on that, I tried to do it. So I have the answers to that.
Julie, so just a quick story, I knew both of Julie's parents and they were amazing people. And I remember when I had gotten diagnosed with breast cancer and I was at an event and her dad was there and he pulled me aside and he said, "I know you're having surgery tomorrow and I know that you don't have a dad, and I want you to know that I am your dad and that I'll be there for you." And I have never forgotten that. I never will forget that. That's where Julie's parents came from. That's the space that they came from.
Do you remember when you told me that you had breast cancer and I said, "Oh, thank God." I was so relieved it wasn't, liver cancer
I
or,
know.
I
I'm
was
sitting
like,
there going,
I
what
just
the
like
hell are you
burst out.
saying?
I knew you were going to tell me something terrible, but I was so glad in the realm of terrible that it was possibly that you could live through it,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But
You're
yeah,
like, that's the most unusual response I've gotten from telling somebody I have cancer. Oh, thank God.
Yes, it was. But it was coming from you, so it was understandable.
You know,
And welcomed. And welcomed.
let me jump in on that real quickly. I had a client when I too we were caring for that had breast cancer. And when I got diagnosed, I told her that I had breast cancer, and what she told me, and I'll never forget it, she's like, "Christine, congratulations." And I was like, I was newly diagnosed and I didn't get it, but she was like, "Congratulations." She was like, "Christine, it's a blessing because it's going to change your life." And she's like, "It's going to change your life for the better. And she's like, you're never going to forget this moment and what you went through." She's like, "Seriously, this is a life changer. So congratulations." She was like, "This is," the moment she said congratulations, I couldn't believe it at first, but then as she spoke, I got it. And it's the same thing. I kind of referred it back to caregivers. As hard as it is, if we ever tell each other, and it might sound crazy at the time, but we don't ever celebrate caregiving, right? Like we do motherhood or anything else. But caregiving is also a life-changing milestone in our lives. And so is that the type of response we should be giving each other once we find out that we're now caring for a spouse or a parent? Should we be wishing each other well wishes? Should we be saying congratulations like this woman told me when I got diagnosed with breast cancer? Is that the response we should be giving each other? I don't know the answer to that. I see Rosanna, she's shaking her head no.
I think it depends how many words you say out of your mouth, Christine.
Yeah.
If you say out of your mouth, "You are embarking on a journey and I am here for you,"
yeah,
that might go over a little better than "Congratulations, your parents are dying."
right. Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I exactly, like I got where she was coming from when she told me that. I understood what she was trying to say.
No, I hear you.
This is life changing. And
by the way, there's an entire section in my book where I talk about Karen Van Dyke, but I changed her name. So when you're reading the book and you're reading about somebody who got a cancer diagnosis and completely changed her life, went from being a banker to being this goddess of do-gooding in the world, it's Karen. I don't remember what I named you, but it's your entire story.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. Asking a practical question, because, do you have any tips on making meditation that all important everyday thing? That I think that's what I know I fall down on that, but I think that's what many of us fall down on. And it's got such rewarding, valuable outcomes. And it's like we almost like are so hung up on the brain that's running so fast that we don't stop it.
So I have an idea, and this is kind of happened by accident. It almost seems like my entire career, I'm just rolling from one thing to the next, and then after the fact, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense, but like for you guys, for instance, my guided meditations, if you go on the website, there's like one of those little YouTube icons. And if you click on it, you'll see the guided meditations with nature videos. So if you don't feel like closing your eyes and putting in your earbuds and doing a guided meditation because you're really a nervous hilaria, you could watch these things and it'll calm you down. And it's my friend Patty Lane who interviewed me like 8 or 10 years ago for her podcast, that has the tech savvy that she's like, I want to help you. She's the one that puts my meditations up on the podcast and makes music behind them. And she's the one that creates the little nature videos and puts them on the YouTube channel, because I suck at all that. And somebody said they can't imagine me as an attorney. Me neither, honestly. I was not well suited to that profession. However, it's fun teaching lawyers now. I did a workshop for the lawyer change makers, Ashoka, and it was fascinating because I know how they think. Because I think how they think, which is how I can cut through all the psychobabble in this genre, and how I can teach skeptics because I'm a skeptic. So it's kind of a superpower. But
Yeah.
but no, I'm really not adversarial. I'm very, I lead with compassion, and I don't think that that's most lawyers' MO. So thank you for noticing.
Hey, Julie, I did want to, I know we're running out of time here, but there
I'm
was,
going to put those things in the link. Thank you for saying that.
yeah, that and Roseanne did ask that she would, and I didn't catch all of it too, but I would love, she said, I would love the words to that mantra that you were giving, where it started with, I'm not the cause of this.
Oh yeah. Okay, hang on.
Write that down.
I've got you. I've got you. Just hang on.
Perfect. Thank you.
I have the ability.
Well, while you're doing that, there's 27 of us, and I have another Julie book to give away. And so if you all want to put your favorite number from 1 to 27 in the chat, there could be a winner.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah.
So let's see, did that copy and paste, or it didn't? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You guys, I'm trying to, maybe it won't copy and paste because everybody else is putting stuff in the chat, but that shouldn't be a thing.
Okay, everybody done?
All right, this is annoying. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I think what I'm going to do is see whether I can copy and paste it just to Karen on the chat.
Okay,
And see if that'll work. And I don't want to take up time being annoying.
that's all right. You're winning a book. And the winner is Deborah.
Yay!
Deborah H.
Okay, let's see if this works.
Deborah, my dear, put in your private message me your email, or Christine, either one of us.
Okay, so I think what I'm going to have to do is share my screen. Oh, can I? I don't think I can share my screen without being a speaker. All right.
You can.
Able to.
Can I?
I
Oh,
think
share screen. Okay. Okay. Okay, you see all those groovy links?
Yep.
So just take a photo of them, I guess, with your cameras, or see if you can copy and paste them. I don't know why they wouldn't paste into the chat, but the first one's my website, and my website has a library in it. So it has every book that I've learned from and all the authors that I respect's websites and their free newsletters. Then there's the guided meditation with the nature videos, which is kind of, if you're caring for loved ones, it's something nice that you could do that. You could watch those together because they're very super duper chill. The podcast is just audio, but there's also talks in there, like leading workshops. And then there's 3 blogs that I just pulled for you guys because they're all specific to caregivers, but actually all the blogs in the website are instructive because they all have content.
Awesome.
And
Thank
then
you.
I want to give you the words to this. I want to give you the words to this too. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Thank you.
And I'm just going to type this in. Talk amongst yourselves while I type this in.
So, yeah, we can start kind of wrapping up a little bit. And so today was full of a lot of gifts. Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. Christina and I never know how quite it's going to turn out. And I'm always just full of gratitude with every single daughterhood that we've ever done. It doesn't, not just this, but everyone. And it's, I don't know if it's all of you bringing your energy in. I don't know what it is, but it is a beautiful, beautiful experience. And I really, and Christine and I both, your magnificence is off the charts, off the charts. Thank you. So tomorrow we have, oh yay, we have Elizabeth Mack, Holistic Caring, and it's going to be all about cannabis and as medicine and the updates on that. There's a lot that's going on in that area, and I think real important for us to hear it. And I'll tell stories of my own experience with that and my aunt tomorrow. And then we have to close out our 2 days. We have Ann Tumlinson, and I know that none of you want to miss that one. She will give a state of the Daughterhood now, where we've come from and where she sees it going, not only from Daughterhood itself, but what's happening in the bigger picture of elder care and all that is in that arena for us. She actually worked on the wording for Joe Biden's campaign in the caregiver section of what he is proposing. So she also sat in the rotunda as one of John Lewis's soul guides. My words, not theirs. But Ann Tomlinson is, you know, all of you women just, I don't know if I can sleep. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to meditate. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Meditate and then cannabis. Ooh, I like
so
that.
there's a meditation on Insight Timer that I use to go to sleep at night. It's called Meditation for Deep Sleep by Kenneth Soares. And somebody early on in the chat said something about the megahertz for sleep. That's what he has. He has that soundtrack behind his mellow, cool, accented voice, and it's an hour and 1 minute.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so if your mind wanders and you lose it, eventually you're gonna calm down enough, and he's gonna help you drift away into sleep. And it has over 6 million views on Insight Timer.
Ooh. Ooh. Christine, I know you turned me on to a really good sleep.
Yeah, I was just the one that I do often, and even my daughters, you know, my 4-year-old listens to it with me when we go to sleep, but it's Yoga Nidra.
I love that.
I love that.
I love that, except for when they get to inside your mouth. I never like how inside my mouth tastes.
Yeah.
Then I get distracted. Should I get up? Should I brush my teeth again? You know?
So that one is only like about 22 minutes, roughly around 20 minutes. And I'm asleep before, and I'm not a good sleeper. I am not a good sleeper, but that one gets me every time. I will fall asleep within that first 20 minutes. One time I actually listened to the whole thing. I'm like, oh, this is what the whole 20 minutes sounds like. Cause normally I fall asleep beforehand, but that Yoga Nidra one, when we send out all the resources, like the post event email with all of this, I'll put that in there. We'll make sure to include that one, and the one that the actual guided one and who does it. Cause there's a few Yoga Nidra ones, but that one is exceptional. Same thing. Millions.
There's like 500 Yoga Nidra ones, just
Yeah.
so you know. Oh, so I wrote Kenneth Shares, and it's Soares.
Yeah,
so I put
Soares.
Soares because that was a spell correct thing. So sorry.
Yeah.
So it's Kenneth Soares.